Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I can't say I have.
Are you beginning to understand?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of a thing called fluoridation? Fluoridation of water?
You're the sickness I'm down with. It's not.
Back at it, boys. Same garage, same creepy masks, except this time we got
The operator.
the operator and my go-kart driving brother.
No poon this time.
No poon. Sans the poon.
Yeah, he's wrangling up some cattle, I guess, right now.
Yeah, I guess. A fucking
That's what he
rodeo.
said, at least.
Yeah.
Who knows where he's at, though?
All right, well. Water or just fluoride?
Water and fluoride is the topic. Should be a good one, I think.
Third eye.
Third eye,
It'll
yeah.
calcify that right up.
We'll get into all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, I guess. And we'll also get into the cow piss. We have it. Amazon delivered it. So now it's here. We just haven't cracked the seal yet.
Is it cold?
It is very cold.
You put it on ice.
Yeah, we need to put it on ice.
I like it neat, you know, not necessarily on the rocks.
Just pour it and walk away.
I like a good organic coffee. So, where'd this shit come from?
So you want to start off with the origin?
Yeah.
Just like the last episode, I guess. All right, so the origin of fluoride in tap water can be traced back to the early 1900s when a young dentist named Frederick McKay moved to Colorado Springs to open his first dental practice. One of his first observations upon arriving to Colorado Springs was that a large portion of the local population had unexplained heavy brown stains on their teeth. While the discolored teeth were unsightly, McKay also observed that they were unusually resistant to decay and set out to figure out the cause. In 1931, after decades of persistent investigation, McKay and his collaborators discovered that the discoloration and resistance to decay were due to unusually high concentrations of fluoride in local water supply. So it was everywhere. It was all natural there.
Yeah, that's the difference between that synthetic shit they throw in there. Where is it? And the natural. I think natural's calcium fluoride.
So he figured out that it worked naturally here, so then they decided to just put it in naturally everywhere, I guess.
That's where I got the problem. There's no natural.
It's not natural.
Yeah, like they're not taking water from Colorado Springs and I don't know, dishing it out to everybody else to get calcium fluoride. They're doing like sodium fluoride or
Yeah, well, in turn, they're also taking fluoride out of the water. Like here in Southern California, out in the desert, there's more fluoride in the water, so they actually have to treat it out and get rid of it. So they're actually hauling fluoride off, and a lot of other places are actually bringing it in.
what the fuck?
What year did this start?
It was in 1930. 1900s, actually, the early 1900s.
When fluoride was introduced to the water table?
Well, that's when he found out that it was actually in the water. It was naturally coming in the water.
No, they did the Grand Rapids experiment, and that was in the 40s.
Yep.
But that was a crock of shit too. Had I have looked into that a little more, I would have dropped a Ty Whitman quote in here somewhere about them doing two different studies. They started out with the town with good teeth and fluoride, and then they compared it to another town with bad teeth and no fluoride. And they're like, oh, well, see, look at this. And they cut the study short because the results weren't going in his favor.
Well,
They're like, ah, fuck it, let's push this through. And now, since I think that was 1950 or 51 or some shit when they passed some sort of a bill that said, hey, we need to fluoridate because, you know, we're so concerned about everybody's shit-stained teeth.
Well, not only that, but they were pulling it out of aluminum and metal factories, so they had a bunch of excess that they just had to get rid of. So there was that, you know, a byproduct of something, and hey, let's see if we can
Yeah, it
pawn
was-
it off to everybody else.
How convenient. We got to pay to get rid of this shit properly, or we can sell it to them and say it's good for them.
Agent Orange.
That is the best way. Where's your mic at, man?
Yeah, come
No,
on.
throwing away your product. Make money off of it.
I'm pretty sure did that with kerosene too. When they're making kerosene, gasoline's a byproduct. So you fucking make people have cars instead of electric cars or gas vehicles or whatever. That way they don't have to light the Chicago River on fire every couple of months to get rid of their byproduct.
Yeah, but even going back to Grand Rapids in the 1940s, they didn't know that the chemicals are actually a toxic industrial waste from the aluminum factories, and was also mixed in with lead and arsenic because that's also in metals.
Oh no, that's nothing
So,
wrong with that.
You have lead poisoning
Yeah,
in
that's
there
fine.
also, causing blue baby disease everywhere. That's for another day.
Yeah, I'm testing for lead this
That's
month.
part
actually.
2, I guess.
Come back with the lead and copper rule.
Yeah, get hit with that.
The father of fluoridation, H. Trenley Dean.
It's controversial.
Yeah.
I'd say Edward Bernays on that one. I'll throw that name out there already.
That soon, huh?
Yeah, already that soon.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Cryptosporidium outbreak?
No.
Waterborne? What are you looking at?
What are you looking at?
born.
God damn it.
Outbreaks of waterborne diseases?
Weird way to pronounce born.
Jason
That's
Bourne.
what Jason Bourne.
God damn it.
No, I had this one going because, we could sit here and talk about how, like, all the events, I have this whole cross-connection book here with all the events of backflow and people dying and getting sick, and now we got to put all these regulations in place and check valves, backflow prevention devices, because, we're so concerned about protecting the water quality, which is good. But then they add fluoride in it, which has nothing to do with the treatment process at all. It's not as if you're throwing, like, alum or some sort of a pH adjuster in there. Or, nah, we'll just throw fluoride in there, which, fuck you want. We can go, what do you do? Talk about the workers getting fucked up, having to handle it and store it. The people who may be getting fluoride from multiple sources other than what's in their water, so now they got too much.
Yeah, fluoride, like, even adding it, it's pretty nasty stuff. That's highly corrosive, and you have to be all PPE, personal protective equipment, for those that don't know the lingo.
Lay it down.
But yeah, it's pretty bad. There was a lot of cases of people getting burned, just even little tiny droplets, and all of a sudden they'd have holes in their skin. So that was a big concern. So a lot of people just didn't even want to touch it. It was pretty nasty stuff. And if you actually store it in glass bottles, the off-gassing of the fluoride will literally eat through the glass.
What were you saying, Ben? It's like a type of salt?
I think fluoride's a type of salt, as far as like chemical structure. It's not a metal, I don't think.
Well, naturally occurring fluoride is a type of salt. That's where you get your sodium fluoride naturally occurring in the ground.
The sodium or the calcium? Well, calcium is what's in it. I think it's what's in your body.
Just cheers with me.
Sodium is
So we have to smoke that whole
the
thing?
synthetic, from what I found out, is the synthetic version.
Yeah.
Cancer-causing pesticides eat through concrete.
Nobody smokes with me.
Calcium is found in soil. Elevated levels were found in India,
There you go.
just because of the amount of it, and then water runoff and all that shit.
Cheers.
Then you got this sweet one, hydrofluorosilicylic acid. My favorite word.
You practiced these, didn't you?
I've been saying it over and over. I'm probably still fucking ruining it.
Layman's terms, fluoride.
Yeah, fluoride. This is added to the treatment process at the time of coagulation, or time when you would coagulate, and add polyelectrolytes. What the fuck are polyelectrolytes?
Well, that's multi-electrolytes.
Oh, thanks.
Groups of 3 or more.
Thank you for that one.
That's why we brought the operator on.
Work on a fucking treatment plant, but you can't tell me what polyelectrolytes are.
Hey, give me some time. I'll look it up.
What about coagulants?
That just makes stuff stick together.
Don't know. You don't use them, huh?
It's a giant tape. Yeah, we do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
What do you use?
Aluminum chlorohydrate.
Oh, you make it on site?
Nah, have it shipped in.
Pussy. All right.
And it's pretty sticky stuff, too. As it should be.
Anyways, that shit's used. Hydrofluorosilicylic acid is used in 90% of fluoride systems in the U.S. And that's obviously a fucking synthetic version of it. Just fucking bullshit. Your boy McKay, who's started this shit in the 1900s, went down to an Arkansas aluminum town known as Bauxite, where he found that the whole place apparently was owned by Alcoa, the aluminum company of America. The residents were affected with mottled teeth. Nearby towns weren't, though. So he conducted a study and returned to Colorado with his findings. And that's, started to push towards, I would assume Grand Rapids over here would be like, okay, look what we had over here. Let's go to Grand Rapids and really fuck some shit up.
Yeah, those poor bastards never seen it coming.
I wonder how quick it actually spidered out to all these different cities around.
Well, fuck, he did the study in the 40s here. We'll assume that was just 1940. And then by 1950 to 58, I think was the latest. Or somewhere in there. There was already passed. It's like, all right, start pumping the water table with it.
So now we could just give it to everybody.
Well,
Because
yeah.
of those studies that he nitpicked.
We're worried about their teeth. And they're worried about their teeth. Why? Oh, drinking water in your fluoride keeps teeth strong and reduces cavities about 25% in children and adults. It has been shown to save money for families and the U.S. healthcare system. So says the CDC. You know what would save people and families money? Not taxing the fucking shit out of them.
Yep.
Call me crazy.
Would help.
That would help. Let me keep all my money and then voluntarily give it to whoever I want.
You don't have to keep all your money,
crazy.
but it helps.
It sure does help.
Is it pure coincidence your shirt says taxation is slavery? You came sporting.
Didn't even think about that. I was like, I gotta wear something nice. It's my only good shirt.
Yeah, it does look clean.
I wore my MK Ultra shirts at the
It's
spa.
actually still black. You know how they start to get gray and faded? This one's black still.
I like it. It's
Pure
it's gonna,
black.
It's meant
It's always
for
the best.
You alright over there?
Is there cameras watching you?
No, they don't work.
What are you worried about your T-shirt?
I'm
All
not.
they can hear is you.
I don't give a shit. Take a picture.
It's just because I threw him out. Left him in the trenches taking grenades.
So yeah, Grand Rapids is a farce. So was
Yeah, but the whole Grand Rapids experiment was kind of stopped because they found out that you shouldn't be exposed before the age of 5, and it really didn't benefit any children after the age of 7. Everything else was just kind of nonsense. Plus, I mean, you already get it from toothpaste and any mouthwash, anything that has to do with your teeth that, any dental professional will give you. So
And we
I
all
mean,
use way too much. I think it says right on the back of it to only use a pea-size amount.
yeah, exactly.
And we all do that whole little long strip with a nice little curl around it.
Oh yeah, because that's what they show you in the commercials. They
Exactly.
set that thing up nice and
Yeah.
nice and
you're
sweet.
making that Nike swoosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember Dr. Bill Osmondson talking about that? Watch, I'll show you this clip right here.
Roll the clip.
Keep out of the reach of children under 6 years of age. Okay, that sounds reasonable. And adults apply a pea-size amount and contact the poison control center if you swallow.
A pea-size amount. It's good for 150 fucking brushings. Like, what would you say that? Like, where's the fucking video footage on that one?
Hip
You
pump
know?
springs.
That'll be episode 3.
Yeah.
We'll get that going.
It's 150 brushing is good with a pea size. So to put that in comparison, if that shit gets in your mouth and you swallow it, you call the poison control center.
Yeah, and they
Because
make it
that's-
taste good.
Yeah,
Of course,
A
right?
little minty. They got
Yeah.
some shit in there. On top, just as a comparison, that same pea size is the amount of fluoride in 1 glass of water.
Yeah, and of course.
But you can drink the fucking water, and you're fine. But you swallow some goddamn toothpaste, they call the poison control center.
Yeah, and I mean, you're encouraged to drink water. Stay hydrated.
Yeah, the age thing isn't. I mean, it's like you're not supposed to give children fluoridated water because it's effect like what 0 to 4 is negligible. But then you go on like Google, it's like, well, can your kids have fluoridated water? Oh, that's fucking fine. Fluoridate your fucking kids with their baby formula. But if you're gonna use tap water, distill the shit out of the tap water, filter it all out, but not the fluoride. You're gonna want that. I don't know about the brushing for 1 to 2 minutes, but they say that pea size is good for 150 fucking brush strokes as you're fucking brushing your fucking teeth. So a pea size, and you're doing the Nike swoosh. That's a month's worth of fluoride in one. And if you're brushing your teeth at least once a day, we'll say twice a day. Fuck me, man. That's way more than you. And then you're drinking the water, right? Depending on the weather too. If it's hot or cold, you're gonna get more or less. And then if you're drinking juices and some other shit, they may have fluoride or processed in it. Any drugs that have fluoride compounds in them, you're getting way more
Yeah, it's everywhere.
than you. Yeah, it's everywhere. And
19
they say
what is
1
it,
part per million is a recommended amount in the water. It's 1 milligram per liter. But compound that with anything else you're doing outside of that, and it's ineffective for your teeth when you're taking it, drinking it through the water. When you're taking it through the water.
Scientists?
And well, just think about it when you're brushing.
What
if
is
you
it?
do
What
one
do you want
piece
fluoride?
size,
Fluoride is a.
What is it?
It's was it a Floridian or that's a shithole fucking.
It's not water. It's not
What
water.
the hell is it? What's just
What
the
is
element? It's not fluoride. It's fluorine.
yeah,
Fluorine is an element with a negatively charged ion. There, it's a
Yeah.
salt. You happy?
Far from chlorine.
but even if
Yeah,
coming
it's-
back to the
it's completely
150
different.
brush strokes, and they say okay, 2 minutes, you're supposed to brush your teeth minimum. even with the 150 brush strokes at a Pea size, that's 1.25 brushes per second. That's what you have to do in those 2 minutes. So if you go over that, then you already have too much than what the recommended amount is. And then on top of that, a lot of people use mouthwash right afterwards. Okay, well, now you swishing that around, now you're already over the limit.
Way over now.
Yeah.
And then you go and what do? You wash it down with some water, which already has another, over the recommended limit. So by the time, you're up for a half an hour, you're over your daily dose.
Yep.
Fuck, you're over a monthly dose. And then you're going to do this one more time before you go to bed. And then again in the morning.
All the water you drink during the day because you're supposed to stay hydrated.
Yeah, repeat that cycle every day.
Yeah, this...
Every day.
I'm not going to go back to the
supposed to,
government's
at least.
not loving you, but why the fuck do they care so much about your teeth? Where's the vitamins added to the water? Everybody's deficient in magnesium and vitamin C. Throw that in there if you're so concerned.
Yeah, well, I mean, they get off because fluoride's a byproduct.
Well,
That they need to get rid of, so they just add it in. They add, actual health benefits that actually cost money. This is saving them money because they don't have to worry about hauling stuff off.
Yeah, they said it's like, and it's so cost effective. It's like 10 cents per citizen per year or some shit to fluoridate their water, and then whatever that's like their implementation of the system because it's so cheap. So we might as well be doing it because we're saving. For every 10 cents we spend a year, we're saving like $48 or whatever per client per dental visit or whatever because of their bad teeth. No mention of changing your fucking diet, eliminating any like processed sugars and shit.
Yeah, but why do the doctors want you to stop going to them? That's where they get their money from.
Exactly.
That's just like, corrective lenses. That's not corrective.
Oh.
You know what's corrective? LASIK. It's one and done. Guess what? You don't have to go back. But now you got to keep going back if you have glasses. Contacts. You got to keep repeating the perpetual cycle.
That's true.
Getting the money in.
Personal experience with that. Oh, you can't do anything. You got astigmatism. Hey, watch this.
Yeah.
One
Zap.
semi-uncomfortable experience and then 20/10 vision the next day. Yeah, fuck you.
Haven't been back in years. Oh,
No.
gee. All of a sudden it's actually corrective, but they consider that procedure as, cosmetic.
Now,
How's that cosmetic?
well, your eyes look better.
Yeah, no, I
You
see
looking
better.
through your eyes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's actually corrective.
No, because you look better without the glasses. So that's considered cosmetic surgery.
I don't know. Some people, man, throw on them glasses. Whew.
I'll tell you what
Whole
I'm
nother
seeing through.
level.
I'm seeing right through this bullshit. Right here.
You're
And
going through those pages like crazy.
I can only find one benefit from the CDC, and that just smells of distilled cow's urine. The drawbacks: ingesting large amounts through drinking water may lead to serious health effects. Well, no shit. The dental fluorosis, when you have too much on your teeth, can make it strengthens your teeth and gets rid of these dental caries, cavities. But what happens if something's too strong? It becomes brittle. There's no dexterity to it, or ductility, or whatever you want to call it.
Snaps on contact.
It just snaps. So the next thing you know, and that's like, oh, it's just your teeth. Well, your teeth, aren't they made of the same shit as your bones? You just can't see your bones. So if you got a bunch of brown spots and brittle teeth, you're gonna have brown and brittle bones.
Yeah, could be.
Oh, there's no correlation to that. Don't worry about that. Like, fuck off. Fuck you,
Fluorosis.
clowns. Clown shit.
Overfluoridation.
Yeah, here's another. Well, Ben, how do we get the fluoride out of our water? Can we boil it? Well, I'm glad you asked, Timmy. No, you can't fucking boil it because it's a goddamn salt. It'll stay behind. You can distill it, recapture the steam, the distillate, like you're making fucking shine. You probably get shot for that, thinking you're not paying an alcohol tax. All you're doing is trying to get the fluoride out your fucking water.
Desalination.
Yeah, you would have to run it through RO.
Yeah, you could go RO. But even then, that's expensive.
Yeah, sodium fluoride boils at 1,695 degrees Celsius. Ain't happening. Your water's long gone before fluoride's gone.
Yeah, no shit. And I mean, there is no, best water. The best water is naturally occurring, depends on your region. Because them sad sacks out in the desert, they're high in arsenic and fluoride and uranium. So you're drinking water right out of the ground, but over prolonged terms, you might start growing a third leg. Don't know.
Yeah, you're over here saying, what about spring water? That's your naturally occurring fluoride. That's the Colorado Springs incident where people had those molted teeth or whatever, the mottled teeth, and it was because it was an excess presence of it naturally. So it's not a whole lot you can do like in the 1800s about that. I don't think they had advanced fluoride removal techniques, but that's not what's causing the problems.
Yeah.
Do you filter spring water? No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have to. I mean, short of.
Well, and also, yeah, you should.
Well, if it's
filter spring water,
it's going to have
once
viruses
spring water is nothing but water that comes out of the ground under pressure or comes out at an equal level but on a lower surface. So once it hits the air, now you have whatever contaminants are in the air, bugs, deer. That's why you can't just go drink out of the over in Yosemite and Tahoe and all that.
You could, but you're running a higher risk of getting a little giardia.
Yeah, and that's where you get the cryptos.
Well, back to my conversation with Matthew. You end up with some E. coli, you may be looking down the barrel of a fecal transplant.
Yeah, but let me tell you, that's the best cleanse you ever had.
The lady that taught that wastewater class had giardia, and she was knocking on the fecal transplant door. You can just fucking talk instead of writing on a piece of paper. You're right there. Go-kart Mike, what do you want to say?
It's helping, though.
Best kind of what?
Hot water. How do you filter it? What the fuck?
Distilled water.
Answer.
How about that? That's that Colorado brownstone water.
Yeah, you don't want none of this.
This is water right on it.
Yeah, what's it look like? It's probably 99% water.
Well, I mean, so we're more specifically bottled water. The problem with bottled water is not, well, they get bottled water the same place that you actually get regular,
municipal tap water. Yeah.
And they just run it through whatever their systems are, but they add, natural minerals, whatever natural minerals that they just took out because they run it through advanced filtration. And I don't know. If you want to go with the FDA and, saying that, all the hormone injected meat and everything else, pesticides is good to eat, if you want to go by their standards and, drink the water.
Yeah, there's no difference in it. They may run it through RO, reverse osmosis, but then you have to remineralize it because that's just straight. Well, I'm not going to say it's like caustic or low pH or anything, right? But it's not going to be
neutral.
It's not going to be palatable. You're not going to want to drink just straight RO water.
Yeah,
and then you end up throwing like sodium chloride or calcium chloride back in it to I don't know. That's the argument.
Well, then
I've
you
heard
get back
of
to chlorine and
water.
disinfection. But people don't like about
I don't
municipality
think we should
water.
be drinking chlorinated water either. I think it's a good thing to put chlorine in the water to get it from source to the tap. But then once it comes out, then you should have some sort of filter to remove it as you bathe and drink it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, yeah,
because
it's not
as
the
it
worst
sits
thing
in the
world
water,
for
there's
you,
no
but-
chlorine, and you leave that thing in the sun for, in all honesty, even an hour, and the light starts wreaking havoc because there is air in there, and you are going to start growing some stuff. Whatever anybody tells you, it's going to start growing.
Yeah, it's because it just neutralizes it, right? It doesn't sterilize. Your chlorine doesn't sterilize the water. It just
No, sterilization is just boiling it out, and you're getting rid of everything at that point, but you have to capture that. Same thing as distilling water. But if you drink just distilled water, you're not getting anything else rather than pure H2O, and that you don't get your electrolytes. You're not going to be hydrated because you sweat out salt.
I've heard people talk about that too. It's like, well, if you're just drinking distilled water the entire time, well, then it's stripping your body of any nutrients because it wants to take like the potassium or the sodium out to balance itself out or whatever the fuck it does, or it removes any excess. I'm not sure because then it doesn't come back in. That's why they say, oh, you just throw a pinch of like sea salt in there, Himalayan pink salt or potassium chloride to remineralize it. That way you're getting your electrolytes. You're not just getting water. Well, water doesn't do jack shit. You needed to have something in there like the sodium chloride or potassium, and that helps neutralize the cells. It allows the cells to uptake water.
Exactly. That's why when you sweat out salt. You get the white stains if you're out in the sun forever and actually sweating. You get white stains on your shirt. Or, even when you cry or your eyes get watery, if you leave it dry, you're going to have white crust left behind.
Yeah.
Your body naturally secretes that. So you need to put that back in or you will go dry. So, distilled and just,
I'm fine with distilled water, but
you got to have something else in there.
Throw a little bit of Epsom salt in there.
Oh,
and watch out for them questionable farts.
So if all of our cities, if they all just decided to just clean our water and everything was, you could test it, the fluoride levels were low, everything was pure with it, do you think that would be the new gasoline? You think the money would go up? Do you think it would actually cost a lot more to get water here?
I wouldn't say that they have to do anything to it. Just don't fucking put fluoride in it. Obviously they're not just gonna put RO water straight into the pipes and bring it to your house. They still have to make sure that it's by the time it comes, because they're ultimately responsible. Like, even if you pull out water out of your backyard, you drink it out of the fucking hose and you get sick, ultimately it's still up, even though it's past their connection, they're still responsible for it. So they need to make sure that they're bringing it to you. And the whole point of the free chlorine residual in there is to make sure that, well, if that chlorine's present, then we can almost guarantee you 100% that there's not going to be any waterborne diseases in that. And then you can drink that. But it's, I don't think they would.
So we would all have to personally check our own water?
I don't think you have to check it. Why not? Be a little more responsible.
That's too hard, man.
Well, Americans are lazy.
Exactly.
Most people are lazy.
Oh, and that's what's funny too.
But everybody should have a filter on the other end of their service connection. So when you drink and bathe, because you bathe in it, now you're steaming it. Now you're getting chlorine vapor,
in there.
Legionella, or whatever. You don't want that. So through your shower and your sink, everything else can be chlorinated. Sure, water your lawn. You want to leave it out for your crops or whatever, put it in a barrel, let it just off gas for a couple of days.
I'd say everybody's on that high horse about this whole high pH. Well, guess what? You could throw some sodium hydroxide in there and jack that pH all the way up to 14 if you really wanted to, but
that's just as bad as it being down low, though.
Yeah, that's not that good. But hey, if it's high pH, you don't know what's in the water. It's high pH. Guess what? Take your tap water, throw it in a pH strip, and it's going to be higher than any bottled water you buy just because it's natural.
So what makes it high pH? After about 8.6? What's that chemical called?
It's actually 8.3.
Come on.
Oh.
Get this man a Snickers.
Oh, man. Drawing a blank.
Phenolphthaleins?
There you go.
There it is.
Phenolphthalein.
Carbonates, bicarbonates, and phenolphthaleins make up your alkalinity, right?
Well, that makes up your overall hardness.
Your alkalinity is based off of the phenolphthalein at 8.3, you said?
Yeah, your alkalinity is just the water's resistance to an acid. So if you were to drop, some, just say lemon juice in there. You drop some lemon juice, lemons, I'd say around maybe a 4.5, 5 pH, and you drop that into some water, and it kind of stays around that, 8 pH or doesn't
or
really
it just
adjust
dumps
that much.
right down to
then
4.
you have high alkalinity water. That's what you need to. If you really are concerned about that, you're going to be drinking high alkalinity water, not high pH
water. Because high
pH
doesn't
water
mean
is
jack
garbage.
Shit. Yeah.
Because
if you were to put that one drop of lemon juice in there, it would drop the pH instantly. But if it was high alkalinity water, then it would have a resistance. It may only drop a fraction of a point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now you're more resistant to anything else you put in your body. If you want to drink a Coke, your overall pH is going to be all screwed up.
Oh, I even came across one the other day about people drinking the high pH water or the alkaline water. I was like, well, what's the pH of your stomach acid? Because the second you feed your stomach acid high pH water, well, it's just going to equalize that out. More likely than not, you're going to drop. Like, say you had 9.5 pH water, and then you just drink it. Well, I'm just throwing out a guess here. Was your stomach 2, 3 pH on the scale there? And then
and that's always kind of what I wondered.
So
yeah. So if you're constantly shoving that in there, your stomach acid starts to get neutralized, and then
you don't want
now
that,
you can't digest anything. So there's got to be a balance. You can't just go, never go full retard.
Yeah. Y'all might be in for a treat.
Speaking of retard.
You're serious? You don't know. Everybody knows you never go full retard. What do you mean? Check it out.
Check it out. Speaking of having a balance, 40% of teenagers show visible signs of fluoride overexposure. That may indicate that, teenagers, children, adults may have large amounts of fluoride from multiple sources besides drinking water, i.e., toothpaste, processed food, beverages, pesticides, teas, non-stick pans, and fluoridated drugs. This just came to me as I was reading that. there's probably some sort of water process going into tampons. Probably getting fluoride through the cooter through non-organic, nasty fluoridated tampon processing.
It's everywhere.
I bought the old lady's 2 different packs of organic tampons. Her last, cycle, goes with the moon. It does every 28 days. Learn about it. But the whole thing about if you have a tampon that's not organic, well then it's covered with GMO, cotton, pesticides, all kinds of shit. That's not cleaned off. And if it is, it's probably with fluoridated water right up the old hoo-ha. It's just another way to get it in you.
That's direct absorption right there.
Is that a direct cross connection or an indirect cross connection?
Oh, that'd be direct.
It would
That's
be direct.
full direct.
That's right. Look it up. San Francisco was implemented fluoride in 1952.
All them white mice at the fucking treatment plant.
Yeah, you're not supposed to flush those.
Duh.
I don't. Okay.
Running around San Bernardino?
They're probably down in there. Okay, so if you got high fluoride mice running around your bloody mice running around your treatment plant, this probably isn't a big issue. But they're not treating. Oh, this just goes into another aspect.
Oh, man,
it just goes into another. This is my end on the way out. You got a bunch of high fluoride red mice coming into the plant, along with your pharmaceutical pissed out water, your SSRIs or SNRIs, where they are, all your head meds. That all goes through the treatment process for waste. They don't do anything for that. It's mostly, unless it's like an MBR or like an actual filtration system. It's just all convention. Microbes just fed with some dissolved oxygen, just go to town on the food, poop, and then you just suck off the clean water. Maybe you throw a little dab of chlorine in it, and then send it back out to a navigation waterway or back into the ground. You've never treated for fluoride, any pharmaceuticals, beauty products, fragrance additives, none of that
Caffeine.
shit. Go
Starbucks loving motherfucker.
Yep.
That's the next floor.
That all goes right through back into the ground. Do you think the ground's filtering it out before you pump it back out, or into the river for the next poor bastards downstream?
It's filtering it out, but it's just getting more concentrated. So after a while, you're going to have rainwater going through, and that's actually a big thing right now is caffeine. They're going to start testing for caffeine because there's been an uptick in the last 50 years.
How do you remove the caffeine?
It's a good.
Just because you can test for it doesn't mean you can remove it.
Yeah, well, that's where your RO comes in. That's the next big ticket right there. The entire world is going to go RO, and that ain't cheap.
What
and
about
that's going to go back to the whole, water's for fighting over, whiskey's for drinking. To have some good water, it's not going to be cheap. So you're not going to be able to, just shower with the water you're going to be drinking.
With some whiskey. Or piss.
Yeah, I'll take the whiskey.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah. I like a good shower whiskey. Everybody likes a shower beer, but I take it one over. I like a good shower whiskey.
I go with a bathtub and strewn myself.
You ever had spaghetti?
You ever showered in piss?
I did have an accident once. Got away from me.
Was your skin more moist?
Yeah, no, I felt like I had to take a second shower.
But hold on, before you take the second, you let it sink in, absorb in those pores.
Oh, it sank in. I just peed on myself.
Right now?
Yeah, maybe a little.
Moisture is the essence of wetness.
Fuck that. I still got one more thing on pregnant women here. All you fluoride loving cunts out there. A study of 601 pairs of mothers. I don't know why they're pairs. Lesbians? I don't know. Oh, pairs of mothers and their children. There you go. That's why I guess I should have read a little further.
He's got it.
Whom they've given birth, from 2008 to 2012. All these women were part of a large maternal infant research of environmental chemicals program that had been recruited from 10 different Canadian cities. Under half, 41%, of these mothers had lived in communities which were fluoridated. During this study, 512 of these mothers submitted urine samples during each of their 3 trimesters. No one needs to hear about that.
Shine the basketball at that point.
Anyway. I'm making myself laugh. All right, they were tested for fluoride levels by 400 and completed a questionnaire on their regular consumption of tap water and water-based beverages such as tea, coffee, no cow's piss. From the answer,
it was water-based.
Well, that is water-based, but they said sans the cow piss. Wow, I've been this twice. You said sans. Yes, I like it. From the answers to these questionnaires, researchers then estimated the amounts of fluoride the mothers had consumed on average each day during their pregnancy. Not surprisingly, those mothers who had lived in areas with fluoridated tap water had obviously higher levels of both fluoride in their urine. Why did it say both? Higher levels of both fluoride. Probably both the mother and the child. From the urine, and calculated the daily fluoride intake to those who lived in areas that didn't have it. Well, no shit. It's just another study to show that. I thought this was going to lead to the babies being more or less retarded coming out of the womb there. Being
Just lower IQ.
Lower IQ. It's not nothing crazy. It's like 2 points per. Like I think they brought it down to like 2 points per ounce or whatever their exposure was during pregnancy up to being born and then up through infancy out. If they turned out to be
Yeah, just compound
lead
that
paint
on everything else,
cheerleaders or-
it just makes it worse.
I'd like a tail.
Sure as hell doesn't make it better.
A tail.
Well, you're not growing a tail there.
I don't think fluoride's going to do
But Dr. Bill Osmond, is it Osmond? Osmundson.
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 Fukushima, maybe, right?
Yeah, I could play that last little clip.
Yeah,
of
play
him.
that clip of this guy who was back this shit for, 20-some years,
I think
15,
he said
20
30
years?
or so.
That was a while.
Realized it may have been some flawed science.
Your thoughts?
I promoted
it is.
fluoridation for 25 years, and over the last about 5 to 8 years, it was really under the coaching of my patients. Said, Bill, you need to look at the science
What?
on
A doctor who
fluoridation
listens
once
to their
again.
patients?
The research on fluoride
Shocking.
is mixed as far as benefit. If you look closely at the studies and you combine them all together, I'm convinced that if there is a benefit, it's no longer there, in part because we're ingesting too much fluoride.
Well, there you go. I mean, you got a guy who's even talking about it with his own patients. Like, hey, fucker, I think we're getting too much. Through whether it's toothpaste or just your goddamn drinking water.
At least take another look at it.
Yeah, and those are like kind of the obvious ones because those come up all the time. Whether it's fluoride-free toothpaste, there's an argument to be made about that. Well, dental caries or, even if you eliminate sugars or if you're not eliminating sugars and you're brushing your teeth with fluoride-free toothpaste, well, you're not getting any protection because fluoride somehow helps with your fucking retarded GMO sugars. But I would like to focus more on the foods, the drugs, the teas, the coffees, all that shit. Even, it's a kombucha. It's good for new beginnings. Well, it was made with fluoride water or fluoridated water. Like, you're still getting it from all these other sources. And just like when I said when you're taking a shower, getting the chlorine absorption through your skin, your largest organ, right? You're getting the fluoride in the same amounts through that same exact organ. So, cool, man. You're brushing your teeth, but you're not swallowing it. Oh, it's in the water, but I only drink tap water. Well, you're taking a shower, or you only drink bottled water. Oh, you're taking a shower. You're drinking tea, or whatever it is. You're even those little jars of coffee that it's made in Seattle. Well, Seattle fluoridates the shit out of their water. Do you think they're filtering all that out to make a coffee, bottle it up, and send it to you in Topeka? I doubt it. So you're getting it from everywhere. And then leading off to that, I suppose, we'll do round 2 of. I'm going to call this one Fluoride is a Duck. Thanks, Ty. We'll do a part 2, and we'll do a little more on like the pineal gland, maybe even the concentration camps using it, or if they didn't use it, that whole dumbing down their prisoners, making them docile.
Yep.
Better lay out.
Shut up.
Peanut gallery over there.
Just kidding. That was good, man.
Yeah, and we also wanted to say thank you to Spiral for letting us use their music. We used a song from one of their older albums called A Piece of Ice in Me. It's from 2007, I think. They said that we could take our pick from all their current music, though, so it's going to be some fun editing.
Check them out on Bandcamp. Sweet-ass band. Let us use their music for the intro and outro.
Definitely check it out.
All right, so here's the outro for y'all.
What is this, tap?
Yes, it is.
No filter?
No filter, tap water.
Huh, interesting. Surprised you don't have a filter.
You have no filter.
That's
It's quite obvious.
That's true. That's a
You
good
just
thing.
say whatever comes into your mind.
Yeah.
You don't really modulate your
Yeah.
inner feelings at all.
Yeah, it's a good thing for me, but it's a bad thing for water.
Once I thought I know you, but you've changed.
cancer cells spread or metastasize. A protein or stimulus activates the tumor cells, then the cells
It's not
edge from Mayo Clinic.
like
Carries break your mother's back. Your body.
neglect.
Push out to invade another part of the body. It's not just
It's not like you.